Season 4 Episode 8. Twin brothers Bran and Toby, sometimes I will call Bran, the host, are played by real identical twins, Jason and Randy Sklar, and within the show, have a show called Go Flip Yourself, where they renovate homes for people by surprise, like the show, Extreme Home Makeover. They call the surprise aspect of the show Ambush Time, and the house they have chosen to renovate is the vampire's Staten Island house. They find a huge bone on the lawn while they walk in, probably a human femur or something, and they note that the ivory is overgrown, a diss to Laszlo's topiary garden. They walk in the house and Laszlo flies down behind them. He is about to feed on them or attack them, but realizes it is the members of the show, Go Flip Yourself, so Laszlo just says he is a big fan. Nadja, on the other hand, flies down with Laszlo and kills one of the twin brother co-hosts, and has to wipe the memory of the living brother, Bran, and camera crew of Go Flip Yourself. Bran and the crew think the memory wipe is a guided spiritual meditation. Bran believes his brother is just feeling under the weather and, sitting this episode out. The show introduces Laszlo as a railroad employee and part-time graphic designer. The host says the space Laszlo and Colin B share is too small. Nandor and Marwa are having difficulty as newlyweds, even though they note they were originally married a long time ago. Apparently, they are both avid cooks and their kitchen does not have enough space for both of them to cook properly. They also disagree on master bedroom layout, but this is mostly for dramatic effect, because remember Nandor's wish to the djinn that his wife has to agree with everything Nandor says. Laszlo is wearing a plaid shirt and Guillermo is wondering where it came from. Laszlo also says the vampires are willing to give their entire life savings to see the house well renovated. The host begins with how the living room space is not working, which immediately offends Nadja to the point she starts yelling at the host. Guillermo points out the full-sized tree which fell through the house into the living room. The host's first idea is to redo the whole house to allow for much more natural light and seems to indicate a bright white paint job. Of course, the vampires do not want and cannot have sunlight hitting them, so this seems like a bad idea off jump. Then the host wants to move the coffins in the house to make room for a master closet. He says Nandor's master bedroom should be in the attic. And Nandor likes the sign, home is where the wine is. Option 2 is to build a man cave in the attic. Nadja is of the opinion the proposed changes are bad and unnecessary. But then she is enticed by a master bathroom with a gold toilet, and Guillermo whispers to her, "You can't even take a shit." This doesn't stop Nadja from wanting the gold toilet. During deliberations on whether the computer graphic house is the one the vampires want, Guillermo points out that someone viewing the Go Flip Yourself episode later on is going to notice they are vampires. Nadja already took care of this by hypnotizing the viewership audience to not notice they are vampires. Same with the editors and all the extended people who might encounter the show. Preceding a dramatic reveal, the vampires have decided to renovate the space. This is terrible news to Guillermo. The crew is going to have to dig up the front yard where there are buried bodies. The vampires, including Colin B, demolish the house. Nandor's man cave is coming along, now with a bar and a bean bag. Guillermo calls into the show under the guise that he is a city building inspector. He says that the show is not meeting certain requirements and that they do not have the proper permits. Bingers would think this is to stop the renovation, but it is just to get a nicer room for himself in the renovation. To get Guillermo a nicer room, sacrifices had to be made, such as Nadja's gold toilet and Nandor's sign that said, "Home is where the wine is." Marwa has somehow completed the entire man cave basically overnight. She shows it to the host and Nandor, but then locks them out and takes it for herself, because she likes everything Nandor does, so she likes the man cave. Is the house a flip, or a flub? After taking off the blindfolds. Move. That. Bus. The house looks exactly the same. It looks the same from the outside and from the inside. The tree is still through the living room. Guillermo's room is still a shithole. The host is introducing it with a before and after montage, but it looks basically the same. The one thing they did actually renovate is the master closet. Once inside, the host reveals himself as Simon the Devious, Nick Kroll, and has Laszlo's cursed witch skin hat on. Simon reveals the twin brothers never existed and it was always him. He created Go Flip Yourself and did 150 episodes just to get into the Staten Island house, to steal the hat back. Simon has his old crew back together, who helped him with the production of the show. There are a few new faces too. Toby ends up being a real regular person, a Navy flight instructor with 3 children. Who Nadja did really kill in the beginning. Laszlo says they can't air the episode because all their faces are being shown. Simon says the people who view don't really pay attention and proves it by the fact he showed a butthole for 10 seconds in an episode for no reason, and never heard a word about it. Simon and his crew leave, and the cursed hat is already doing its cursed things. Simon flies into a window instead of out the window. In wrapping the episode, the vampires and Guillermo talk about how problems with the house are vanishing because Laszlo's hat is gone. During the next episode of Go Flip Yourself, Simon the Devious, in brand form, tries to ignite a stovetop, but the stove instead explodes the whole house, probably because of the cursed hat.